Once upon a time, there was a young couple named Emily and Jack. Emily had always dreamed of visiting the beautiful island of Bora Bora, with its crystal clear waters and lush tropical landscape. Jack, on the other hand, had never given much thought to traveling, but he knew how much it meant to Emily, so he agreed to plan a trip to the island for their anniversary. Emily had always been fascinated by the ocean and the creatures that lived within it. Growing up, she spent most of her free time at the beach, swimming and snorkeling. She even went on to study marine biology in college and had a passion for conservation. Jack, on the other hand, was a businessman and spent most of his time working in an office. He was always looking for a way to unwind and relax, and this trip to Bora Bora was just what he needed. They arrived on the island and checked into their overwater bungalow, which was nestled above the clear blue waters. They were greeted with a bottle of champagne and a basket of tropical fruits, which they enjoyed while taking in the stunning view from their balcony. For the next few days, they spent their time exploring the island, visiting the local markets, and trying out different water activities. Emily was thrilled to go snorkeling and see the colorful fish and coral reefs, while Jack enjoyed the peace and tranquility of floating on a paddleboard. They also went on a sunset cruise, where they watched the sky turn pink and orange as the sun went down. One of their favorite experiences on the trip was a visit to a local conservation center, where they learned about the efforts to protect the island's marine life. Emily was particularly moved by the work being done to preserve the endangered black coral, and she and Jack even got the chance to plant a piece of coral in the ocean, a moment they will cherish forever. As the trip came to an end, Emily and Jack were sad to leave the beautiful island, but they knew they would always cherish the memories they had made there. They returned home feeling refreshed, relaxed, and grateful for the time they spent together in Bora Bora. Emily was blonde, with long hair that cascaded down her shoulders. Her eyes were blue and her smile was contagious. Jack was a brunette, tall, athletic with a charming smile and a great sense of humor. They complemented each other perfectly. They were the perfect couple, and their trip to Bora Bora was just what they needed to strengthen their bond and fall in love all over again. On their second day in Bora Bora, Emily and Jack decided to go snorkeling in the crystal clear waters of the island. They rented gear and set off on a small boat with a local guide named Fabian. He was a friendly fisherman who had spent most of his life on the island, and he was happy to show them the best spots to see the colorful fish and coral reefs. As they snorkeled, Fabian pointed out different species of fish and taught them about the different types of coral. Emily was in awe of the vibrant colors and the variety of marine life. Jack, who had never been snorkeling before, was surprised by how peaceful and calming it was. As the day went by and their snorkeling experience came to an end, Emily and Jack sat on the boat with Fabian, the fisherman who had shown them the beautiful coral reefs. They chatted and laughed, taking in the stunning view of the island and the ocean. Fabian shared with them his many years of experience living on the island and the wisdom he had learned throughout his life. "Life is short, enjoy it while you can," Fabian said, with a smile on his face. "I've seen so many people come and go on this island, and it's always the ones who take the time to enjoy the beauty around them that leave with the fondest memories." Emily and Jack nodded, feeling grateful for the opportunity to experience such a beautiful place and make memories together. "But it's important to be present in the moment," Fabian continued. "It's easy to get caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past, but it's important to focus on the present and enjoy the beauty of the world around us." Jack reflected on how true this was. He had been so busy with work that he had forgotten to take the time to appreciate the world around him. "And you have to find balance in your life," Fabian said, leaning back on his chair. "Work and play, and take time to relax and enjoy the simple things in life, and make time for the people and things that matter most. Emily thought about how she had been so focused on her career, and she realized how important it is to make time for the people you love and to take care of yourself. Emily and Jack were grateful for the words of wisdom from Fabian and thanked him for his time and for sharing his life experience with them. They knew that those words would stay with them for a long time and would help them to live a more balanced and fulfilling life. They said goodbye to Fabian with a promise to come back and visit the island again one day. Emily and Jack returned to their resort feeling refreshed and grateful for the memories they had made. They decided to take Fabian's wisdom to heart and make the most of their time on the island. That evening, they enjoyed a romantic dinner on the beach, watching the sun set over the ocean. As they sat there, holding hands and watching the sky turn pink and orange, Emily reminded Jack of Fabian's first piece of wisdom: life is short, enjoy it while you can. They decided to make the most of their remaining time on the island and booked a spa day, massages, and a couple's yoga class. They also went on a sunset cruise and watched the sky turn pink and orange as the sun went down. Jack was more present and relaxed than ever before. He had finally found the balance he was looking for. The next day, they visited a local conservation center, where they learned about the efforts to protect the island's marine life. Emily was particularly moved by the work being done to preserve the endangered black coral, and she and Jack even got the chance to plant a piece of coral in the ocean. As they did this, they both remembered Fabian's third piece of wisdom: find balance in your life. They knew that they had to balance work and play and make time for the things that matter most, like protecting the environment. On their last day, they took a stand-up paddle boarding lesson, where they enjoyed the peace and tranquility of floating on the water. They took in the beautiful surroundings, and Jack remembered Fabian's second piece of wisdom: be present in the moment. He realized that it's easy to get caught up in worries about the future or regrets about the past, but it's important to focus on the present and enjoy the beauty of the world around us. Knowing the trip would soon come to an end, Emily and Jack were sad to leave the beautiful island, but they knew they would always cherish the memories they had made there. As the trip was coming to an end, Emily and Jack received a call from their work. They were both informed that their company was in financial trouble and that there were going to be layoffs and salary cuts. They were worried about how this would affect their future and how they were going to make ends meet. Emily and Jack were faced with an issue that they didn't know how to resolve. They discussed the situation and decided to take a walk on the beach to clear their minds. As they walked, they remembered Fabian's first piece of wisdom: life is short, enjoy it while you can. They realized that they didn't want to waste the rest of their vacation worrying about something that they couldn't control. They decided to enjoy the remaining time on the island and not to let the bad news spoil their vacation. As Emily and Jack walked on the beach, they began to realize that they didn't want to go back to their old lives. They didn't want to return to the stress and uncertainty of their previous jobs. They remembered Fabian's words: life is short, enjoy it while you can, and decided to take a leap of faith and move to Bora Bora permanently. They started to research how they could make a living on the island. They found out that Bora Bora is a tourist destination. They decided to start a tour company to show visitors the beautiful coral reefs and the island's marine life. They wanted to share their passion for the island with others, and they knew that they had the knowledge and experience to make it a success. They also had a passion for photography and decided to start a photography business as well. They used their snorkeling and diving experience to take beautiful underwater photos of the island's marine life, which they sold to tourists as well as to stock photography sites. Emily and Jack were able to make a living and support themselves on the island. They were living their dream and enjoying every moment of it. They were able to find balance in their lives and find a way to make a living doing something that they loved. They knew that they had made the right decision and were grateful for the opportunity to live in such a beautiful place. They were also happy to continue to share Fabian's wisdom with the tourists they met on their tours, encouraging them to enjoy life and find balance in their own lives.